Hello and welcome. My name is Carsten Lützen. I'm a facilitator and a coach, whatever we call it, agile coach. Today I will share a liberating structure called the discovery and action dialogue that is super useful when we have a specific challenge or challenges that we would like to just dive a little bit deeper into and figure out what can we do about it. If you haven't seen my other liberating structures videos, please feel free to explore them, because I still believe that liberating structures is one of the best facilitation toolkits out there, where you can easily create some pretty awesome workshops, and it's just a nice toolkit to use. And if you like these videos, please consider to subscribe and share. That would be awesome. So back to the discovery and action dialogue. As I said, this is a good exercise to use when we are diving into a specific problem. So we can have brainstormed in different ways, right? And then we have a list, and then we divide people into groups. The groups can either work on the same problem or maybe different problems, depending on where the energy is. And the group size should be 5 to 15 people. I would always encourage you to have smaller group size, simply because it will give more time in the groups to talk about it. But anyway, one of these will be the recorder in the group, kind of facilitating the group onwards. And the overall time spent is 25 to 70 minutes. I have rarely done it in 25 minutes. It's more half an hour, 40 minutes at least for me. But I've not yet used 70 minutes, but it is a possibility, right? What we do is we have 7 questions. I'll get back to them in a second. When you're in the room, people are in these groups, right? Then you create the invitation for them. And what is it that we're going to do? And that is like we normally do, right? So we have this problem or this thing, this challenge that we're looking at. And I would now like to invite you in the groups to work with this, to come up with good ways of solving this, or at least getting closer to the solution. We have 7 questions that you will go through, and those will guide you and help you in this. Then we have people in the groups, 15 minutes to 60 minutes, and then we recap at the end in the groups, and maybe also a bit in plenum, depending on the format of your workshop. So the questions when we are in the groups are these 7 ones. And as a solution-focused coach, I love these questions, because they definitely have a solution-focused angle into this. So first off, we are in this group because we know what challenge we're working on, right? The obvious thing for a lot of people would be to still talk about the problem. Instead, the first question is, how do you know the problem is present? Here, people will probably start individually, and then in the group, if it's a smaller group. If it's a big group, I would do individually, then in pairs, and then in the entire group. Anyway, here we start to define the signs of the problem is being present, aka also the signs of that it has improved. We can see that this problem is still a problem because the build server keeps going down, or the 2 teams can't communicate, or whatever it is, right? But now we're starting to define how can we know that the problem is present. And with that, we can then ask people, how do you contribute to the solution? And this contribution will probably link to these signs, right? So what is it that I can do to make these signs go away, or at least improve? And that is what we really want to do, right? What is it that each and one of us in the group can do to improve the situation? And what prevents you from doing this all the time? Because if it is a problem and I have something to do or to fix it, then why am I not doing it all the time? So it's not a problem. And then now we are starting to have, what is it, the underlying, or what are some of the underlying root causes here with this? So why is it that we're not able to do this all the time? And then, do you know someone who solved it? A lot of the problems we are facing are things that other people have also faced, either in the same company or in another team or in another company, right? But start to to figure out, do we know somebody that have faced maybe somewhat the same? Cool, let's reach out to them and learn from them. And then, do you have any ideas? Because it might also be that we in this discussion, we have this awesome idea that could maybe actually help because I looked at this and whatnot. So get it out of the system, get it into the open so we can discuss it. And then, what needs to be done? So what is it that we should do and who volunteers to do it? And the nice part about volunteering is that you can only volunteer inside this team. This runs on volunteers, not on volunteers. Also to help us make sure that we have the people that are really passionate about this trying to fix it or improve the system. Of course, it might also be that we need to involve somebody else, so who else needs to be involved, so we can involve them, but we still have volunteers in this group that are working to improve this. And that's the really, really important aspect of this, right? That it's driven by volunteers. And when we have gone through these 7 questions, we have both agreed on how do we know that the problem is here, and smaller solutions. Where can we find inspiration? Do we have any ideas, and who is now running with it going forward? And it's such a super awesome thing, and it's quite self-facilitated in the groups. And that's really, really awesome, right? Because then you're not, as the one facilitator, 2 facilitators, the access point at all points in time, right? For people, because they're looking at you. So you can just go through these 7 questions in the groups, and it's just awesome. I'm hoping that some of you are going to share what have you done, how have you used this, and please share it in a comment in a message to me. And if you have comments, questions, ideas, or feedback to these videos, again, please share it in a comment or in a mail to me. And that's it. Have a super awesome day.